Hello everyone, this is Professor Seung-Hyun Lee, and welcome back you all. It's very sad that we can only offer a class via online this way due to coronavirus 19. Hope all of you are well and okay in your own country. I know it's not fun, right? You want to be in Korea in classroom and meet the people and professors and students and your friends, and you expected something fantastic and entertaining semester. But unfortunately, this is the only way that we can proceed our courses at this moment. Hopefully everything comes down, and soon we can meet together in the classroom. And in the meantime, we'll be offering classes through online this way, and then you can watch my video tape weekly, and then let's see how it goes. First of all, today is the first week of the semester, so I'm not going to do much, but I'll let you know what my course will be like throughout the whole semester, and what are the topics that we will cover. And basically, the class, let me explain the way we proceed our classes. Basically, I'll videotape the lecture and upload it to YouTube, and then post the web link into the Blackboard. Then you can click the link, and then you'll be directed to my video, and you can watch it. So hope you all are well aware of the Blackboard system that can be found in our host portal system. You can log into host portal, and then click Blackboard, and then you can find the classes listed there, and click Paul Jadon Christology and the New Perspective. Then you will find lots of window buttons on the left side, and click weekly, 매주 강의 동상, something like that, weekly lecturing, and click it. Then you will find class 1, class 2, class 3, and blah blah blah. So from now on, you can click so today you should probably have clicked week 1, and there you will find the syllabus, the course syllabus. This will help you understand what the course will be like throughout the whole semester. So this is very important for you to have. And let me. Yeah. In the window of the first week, you should find this one and the link, web link to this video. So you should be able to click the link, and then you are directed to this video, so then you may watch me indirectly. All right, that's it. But most of you do not have legitimate emails. Please, list your emails to our office so that they may have yours. And I try to email you all, but only one of 7 of you does have a valid email address. So only one of you were able to get my email. So I have no other way of communicating with you. So you should have listed your email to our office. And then your email will be connected to our Blackboard system, so that whenever I want to say something to you via email in Blackboard system, then it'll be directed to you directly. All right, so that's that. But after this class, after watching this video, you may find the assignment right below this course website, course link. So after every class, you got to do a little bit of assignment, so that I may know that you watch the video and you attended the class. So there is a small box for assignment where you should upload your assignment weekly. All right. So syllabus in your hand, and let's go over it little by little. So the title of the course is Paul's Adam Christology and the New Perspective. Professor name, Seung-Hyun Lee, and my email address, shle@hoso.edu, and my phone number, which may not be useful at this moment, the time, okay, place, whatever. So, all right, the purpose of the course. Let me read it slowly, and you can follow me with your own. For Paul, Jesus is the most fundamental foundation of his theology. So, as you know, Paul was a Pharisee before his conversion, but after his meeting with the risen Jesus at Damascus, Paul became a convert. So he basically changed his view, opinion, and his theological orientation. So at the center of Paul's theology, there lies Christ. So Christology is key for understanding Paul. So Paul, after his Damascus encounter with the risen Jesus, confesses that he is the Son of God and the Lord, and he starts proclaiming that Jesus is Christ. If you read Acts 9 and 22 and 26, you will find that Paul was actually heading to Damascus to persecute the Christians. However, on his way to Damascus, he encounters the risen Jesus. And there was a conversation between the risen Jesus and Paul. And finally, Paul changes his view regarding Jesus and the gospel and early Christianity. After that, Paul becomes a Christian, and then he becomes an apostle. So the first thing that he did that Jesus is the Messiah, a proclamation of the gospel. So, third line back, while Christology is the most important aspect of his theology, Paul often compares Jesus with Adam and describes Jesus and his ministry in light of the Genesis story of Adam. So, when you read Paul's letters, Romans, 1st and 2nd Corinthians, and Ephesians and Philippians, you will find that Paul often compares Jesus with Adam and explains Jesus' identity and ministry in light of the Adam story found in Genesis. So by Adam Christology, we mean that Adam Christology, we mean that Paul is describing Jesus and his ministry in terms of Adam and his story. Fifth line, moreover, Paul called Jesus new Adam and the last Adam who restores what Adam lost. So, Adam sinned and he lost God's glory, and he introduced death and sin to the human history. But what Jesus did was Jesus became obedient to God's will and sacrificed his life, and then he became atonement sacrifice for our sin. So basically, he covers sin. He overcomes the fatal sin of humanity, and the consequence of it, death. So basically, Jesus restores what Adam lost, and Jesus overcomes what Adam failed. So this is the idea of what Adam Christology is like. So in the class, we ask what the beginning and development of his Adam Christology is like. Answering this question, we have to first explore Jesus' tradition as well as Jewish tradition, which constituted Paul's new and old traditional heritage. In Second Temple Judaism, which is Paul's old religious system, Adam's story was interpreted in various ways. The Jewish interpretation obviously influenced Paul with its framework of Adam interpretation, as well as various key themes. So, one component that we have to examine first is Jewish heritage. Paul was not a theologian who learned Jesus anew from nothing, but he was a Pharisaic Jew, so he was well educated as a Pharisee. So at the bottom of his theology, there lies a Jewish heritage. So we will first examine what a Jewish understanding of Adam was like, how Jews interpreted Adam's story. That's the first element that we have to consider. Moreover, Paul's own personal encounter with the risen Jesus functions as a hermeneutical starting point of his Adam Christology. To that purpose, Jesus' tradition that Paul received from early disciples of Jesus helped him sharpen his understanding of Jesus. So, there was a Jewish understanding of Adam. And then Paul encounters the risen Jesus at Damascus. So now he gets a new understanding of Jesus. And then Paul gets a Jesus tradition from early disciples. Paul was not the first apostle, but there were other disciples of Jesus who knew Jesus better than Paul. So they collected the sayings of Jesus, and they told the narratives of Jesus, and they collected the meanings, implications of Jesus' death and life and resurrection. So we call this Jesus tradition. So Paul acquired the Jesus tradition from early believers, and that helped him understanding who Jesus was better for Paul. Finally, Paul's continuing missionary activity among the Gentiles and his living experience in the Gentile communities expedited the development of his Christology. Here, after the encounter with Jesus, Paul joins the Gentile community in Damascus and then in Antioch, and then he opens new churches in Asia Minor and Greece. In other words, Paul spent most of his time with the Gentiles. So now he has to explain and understand Jesus' identity in a way that that identity is related to or meaningful for the Gentile identity and Gentile salvation. So for that purpose, Adam Christology plays a very important role. So in this class, throughout the whole semester, we will explore several key passages of Paul to find contours of his Adam Christology. In addition to our deeper understanding of Paul's Adam Christology, we'd like to participate in the conversation between the old perspective of Paul and his new perspective. Through our sound knowledge of Paul's Adam Christology, we can help the conversation move forward. During the last 30 or 40 years of Pauline scholarship, scholars have debated about how to interpret Paul. So there used to be an old perspective. Now they claim the new perspective, a new understanding of Paul. So scholars from old, scholars from new perspectives fought against one another. So in this class, I'll explain what the old perspective is like and what the new perspective is like, and then try to take part in the conversation through Adam Christology. And now second, lecture and seminar. In the first half of the class, I'll do lecturing online. I'll videotape my lecture and post it to YouTube, and then post the link to the Blackboard in our portal system. So you have to check the weekly lecture section and watch the video by clicking the link. Then I may ask you to do a light work and post it to the homework section. Then I'll check for your attendance. When the situation gets better, hopefully, we may meet and lecture again offline. So we'll try to do the online lecturing in this way for a while. And then after each class in each week, there will be a section for homework or assignment. And then I'll let you know what the homework is like. And then you have to upload your own assignment to the section. So lecture and seminar, that's the way. Evaluation, next page. Evaluation, first, attendance, 20%. So you have to watch a video weekly and then post your answer to the homework section. And participation, yes, participation means then you have to take part in the whole lecturing by listening to the video and then doing the homework that I ask you to do. And then 60% term paper. Students will choose topics in consultation with the instructor and write a paper between 12 to 15 pages. This will be due by the end of the semester. Yeah, you will write one paper, 12 to 15 pages long, about the topic of Adam Christology. So you will choose a topic or a text in Paul and discuss it in light of Paul's Adam Christology. So we will talk about it later a little bit more. And textbook, two of my books. Don't worry about that. I know that you cannot read Korean and you cannot have this book as well. So I'll try to offer some of the English articles throughout the semester. I have written and some other scholars have written. So that's that. And finally, a weekly plan of the lecture. Weekly plan of the lecture. So if you take a look at the whole section, our courses consisted of 15 weeks. And the first week, today, that's for introduction. That's for the introduction of the whole course and the way the semester works. And also I introduce myself to you. Hopefully you can introduce to me by writing a little bit in our portal system. And the last week, week 15, the conclusion. So we won't have particular lecturing, but probably I'll summarize what I have done. Oh, you know what? Okay, number one, week one, introduction. Now week two, Paul's Adam Christology and the New Perspective. So the reading, 승현 Simon Lee, Paul's Gentile Mission and Apostleship as a Hermeneutical Exigency for his presentation of Jesus as a new Adam. You know what? I'm going to attach this file to our course website, so you can download it and print it out and read it before coming to this class. You have not read it yet, then please stop watching this video and go back to the portal and then print this out and read it and then come to the class, come to the video again. So next week, week two, I'll explain what Paul's Adam Christology is like and also the new perspective is like. What is Paul's Adam Christology and the new perspective? I'll explain a little bit of what that is like, the explanation of the concepts. And week three, emergence and development of Paul's Adam Christology. Number one, the description of Adam by Jewish writers. So in week three, we will explore how Adam is explained in Judaism, which was mother religion of Paul. And week four, second aspect, Paul's Damascus experience and Paul's Adam Christology. In this lecture, we will analyze the nature of Paul's encounter with the risen Jesus, and we will analyze how that affected Paul's understanding of Jesus in terms of Adam. And week five, number three, Gentile mission and experience in Gentile community. So Paul was proclaiming the gospel among the Gentiles, not the Jews. In other words, the Jewish way of worshiping God through the works of the law or the law do not help the Gentiles. So Paul had to find a way of helping Gentiles understand or acquire their salvation. And for that purpose, Adam stands out very important. Not Abraham nor Moses, but Adam stands out very important for Gentiles because in that way you can include Gentiles in Adam's humanity. Number four, Jesus tradition. So in this lecture, we'll see what the Jesus tradition was like in terms of the understanding of Jesus in light of Adam. Before Paul, early Christians had a contours of their understanding of Jesus, and we'll see how that Jesus tradition helped Paul sharpen his Adam Christology. And now, week 7. In this lecture, we will analyze Philippians chapter 2, 6 to 11. There we have a kenosis hymn. And in that hymn, Jesus comes down from heaven to earth, and then he goes up to heaven. There, Jesus' incarnation is portrayed as an obedience to God's will, which is in contrast to Adam's disobedience. As a result, Jesus is exalted and glorified, while Adam lost his glory. So by analyzing Philippians chapter 2, 6 to 11, we can see the contrasting aspects of Jesus' life and Adam's life. And week 8. Jesus, Adam, and humanity in sin, Romans chapter 1. In Romans chapter 1, Paul describes humanity captivated by sin and as a result under the wrath of God. There, Paul seems to be describing humanity's situation in terms of Adam. So we'll see how Adam plays out in Paul's interpretation, understanding of humanity in sin. Week 9, we will analyze chapter 5 of Romans, Romans 5, 12 to 21. There, Jesus contrasts Adam with Jesus. Paul actually contrasts Adam with Jesus in many different ways. So by analyzing chapter 5 of Romans, we will see how two figures of Adam and Jesus appear in contrast, in parallel light in Paul's understanding. So that's a very important text. And week 10, we will analyze probably Romans chapter 6 and 7. In chapter 6, believers are claimed to be united with Jesus by going through baptism. Now through baptism, believers are become a part of Jesus' humanity. So now humanity, new humanity, believers become a family of the family of Jesus, the new Adam. And then in chapter 7, Paul explains how the law played against humanity by sin's agent. So Romans 7 is about Adam and his descendants, a tragic situation under the sin, under the power of sin. So we will see that in Adam's story. And week 11, we will analyze particularly Romans 8. Jesus actually helps humanity by offering the Holy Spirit to them, and the Holy Spirit enables humanity to overcome their sinful nature. In their way, they can overcome Adam's sin and death. So somehow, Holy Spirit appears as Jesus' solution for the humanity in Adam's situation. So we will analyze that. Week 12, 2 Corinthians 3 to 4. There Paul calls Jesus the image of God. Adam bore God's image. Actually, he was created in God's image, but he failed. However, Jesus is now possessing God's glory in his face. Now Jesus is called God's glory. So by looking at God's glory in Jesus, we are being transformed. So somehow salvation in 2 Corinthians 3 and 4 becomes interpreted in terms of glorious transformation from Adam's image to Christ's image. So that's 2 Corinthians chapter 3. And week 13, we will analyze 1 Corinthians 15, 2 Corinthians 5, and Philippians chapter 3. There, Paul explains resurrection. Resurrection overcomes death, which was the result of sin. So basically, in Paul's understanding, every humanity, every descendant of Adam sinned, and as a result, they had to experience death. But by experiencing Jesus' resurrection, humanity can overcome sin and death. So 1 Corinthians 15 and 2 Corinthians 5, Paul explains the resurrection in terms of overcoming Adam's critical failure and fall. So week 14, Jesus as God's image and co-creator of God. As you know, in Genesis chapter 1, God created everything by word, and at the same time, God created the humanity in terms of his image. Now, in Colossians chapter 1, Paul calls Jesus God's image, by which everything was created. So now, according to Paul's understanding of Jesus, in Colossians chapter 1, Jesus appears as co-creator with God, who created everything with God in Genesis chapter 1, in the beginning of the world. So that's week 14, and in week 15, in the final week, we will summarize everything together. So this is the structure of our lecture, and I guess that's it. So today's lecture is up to this point, and next week we will discuss in week 2 post-Adam Christology and the new perspective. I will explain these two important key terms to you next week. But in the meantime, assignment. In week 1, in the assignment section, each of you suggest. Let me know, what your situation is like, how you feel and how you do and who you are, and let me know. And that is the assignment of this week. So post it to a blackboard so that I may read. And if I can able to see your response, then I will check for your attendance. All right. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye.